We have some really awful breaking news. A plane has just come down in Washington, D.C. because a helicopter has collided with it. And this just comes after a week when Donald Trump gutted key aviation safety committee and fired the head of the TSA and the Coast Guard. More on that soon. Let's watch this awful tragedy here, and I'll tell you more about all that. This is the first plane that has come down since 2009, I'm told. So this is quite a tragedy. I'm so sorry to bring you this news. And here is the aftermath of this catastrophe. And said here, fatalities have been reported. A massive search and rescue operation is underway in the Potomac River. Witnesses reported seeing a massive crash, as you just saw, hearing a loud boom. This is someone currently on their way to the scene. Here's everything we know so far. A small commercial airliner and military helicopter collided and crashed into the Potomac River near Reagan National Airport. The video that you just saw showed the collision. The airliner had about 60 people on board, and it's not known how many were aboard the helicopter, but this is awesome. At least 4 people have been recovered. Can you believe that? Surviving that? And were rushed to the hospitals. A frantic search to find victims is underway. The water temperature right now, so please pray for these folks, because the water temperature right now is about 37 degrees. And at that temperature, someone has about 15 to 20 minutes before suffering from hypothermia. A statement from the FAA says a PSA Airlines Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jet collided in midair with a H-60 helicopter while on approach to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport at around 9 p.m. PSA was operating flight 5342 as American Airlines. It departed from Wichita, Kansas. And as you all know, this is a massive emergency response unfolding. Fireboats are in the water, and the Metropolitan Police Department has also confirmed it is responding. So let's just hope that more folks are recovered and that this tragedy isn't as bad as it could potentially be. And then here is the press secretary, the White House press secretary, talking about this. No mention about the removal of those safety inspectors.
Program tonight, but in light of this breaking news, I have called over to my counterparts at the White House, and I can confirm that President Trump has been made aware of this situation, and tragically it appears that a military helicopter collided with a regional jet at DCA Airport right here in Washington, D.C. That's all I can confirm at this point in time, and I can just say that the thoughts and the prayers of the entire Trump administration are with all those that are involved, and we ask the public in this area to please stand by for guidance from law enforcement and allow them to do their jobs as they attempt to save lives right now.
Well, were the thoughts and prayers with, actually, before I can do that, here is American Airlines saying that they're aware of the reports of the American Eagle flight going down. They can't say anything else, but the flight was heading to Wichita, Kansas. Or the flight was heading from Wichita, Kansas to Reagan National Airport. And I guess my question is for the press secretary and for Donald Trump is, were there thoughts and prayers with these folks when they gutted the key aviation safety committee and they fired the heads of the TSA? And it says here the committee would continue to exist but won't have any members to carry out the work of examining safety issues at airlines and airports. So I'm not saying that Donald Trump took down this flight, but I am saying we might see more accidents like this because of the decisions Donald Trump is making. The Aviation Security Committee, which has mandated by Congress after the 1988 Pan Am 103 bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland, will technically continue to exist, but it won't have any members to carry out the work of examining safety issues at airlines and airports. Before Tuesday, the group included representatives of key groups in the industry. It wasn't immediately clear how many other committees were effectively eliminated Tuesday or other departments, because he's been gutting everything. Here's a quote. naively thought, oh, they're not going to do anything in the new administration to put security at risk, aviation security at risk. But I'm not so sure, said Stephanie Bernstein, whose husband was killed in a bombing. And this is a wider thing that's happening with this administration, is they are gutting and stopping the communication of professionals from doing their job. They've also did the same thing with the CDC in order to stop working with WHO, immediately upending expectations of an extended withdrawal. A doctor said stopping communications with meetings with WHO is a big problem. People thought there would be a slow withdrawal. This has really caught everyone with their pants down. And so that means when we don't have professionals that are able to just do the work of what a bureaucrat is supposed to do. Bureaucrat has become a dirty word in the Republican Party, but really what it means is a federal employee who does not have a political alignment and is there, regardless if it's a Democrat or Republican in office, trying to do the work of making sure they're protecting the American people. And so that's why you probably haven't heard that tuberculosis has an outbreak in Kansas. I'm sick of not making things political. Who knows how many more are going to die from the decisions that this Trump administration is making? As I showed you early on the channel today, there are people freaking out because of his decision to just stop federal funding out of nowhere with no instructions, no guidance, and people are having panic attacks over it. So Americans are suffering not just from the fact that they might not know what's happening with their benefits, but also we're now in the situation where professionals aren't taking care of the things they need to. They aren't talking to us. And so when we're seeing stuff like this happen, I don't personally believe it's a coincidence that Donald Trump is stopping professionals from doing their job of keeping us safe and informed, and we have now planes being collided with by helicopters. Never happened before until Donald Trump made the decision to stop having experts doing their work. So yeah, I'm going to say it. If this were Joe Biden or Obama, or if Kamala Harris were in office, do you not think the right would try and blame that on them, even though Biden would have kept all the experts in their positions? Of course they would. So you're telling me that when stuff like this happens, we're not going to do the same thing for Donald Trump when he has actually done everything he can to make us less safe, less informed, and less ready to handle tragedy as it comes. So I'm not going to take it. We have to call all this stuff out because as it has been shown, when we push back, they go back on some of their worst decisions. They rolled back that stupid freeze on all federal spending on grants. They rolled it back. And so my hope is that they will roll back them taking experts out of the positions in government where we need them to not only keep us informed, but to keep us safe.